Breaking news coming in the last couple of minutes is being reported that Britt Baker, the former AEW Women's World Champion, has been suspended and fined by AEW following a backstage incident involving herself, MJF, and his girlfriend Alicia Atout. All of the details on that, plus what is the latest status of Brock Lesnar in WWE and could he be set for a WWE television return? The latest status of Daniel Garcia in AEW has possibly been revealed. Is the door shut on a Ronda Rousey return to WWE TV? And WWE Tag Team Champions Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa appear at an independent pro wrestling event in Cleveland, Ohio. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. And let's begin with the latest development, this breaking news coming today regarding Britt Baker, the former AEW Women's World Champion, being suspended by All Elite Wrestling. Of course, as AEW prepares for its biggest show of the year on August 25, that being AEW All In at Wembley Stadium, the last thing the company would want is controversy. After all, AEW All In 2023 last year does have the infamy of having the backstage altercation between CM Punk and Jack Perry that saw the former fired and the latter be suspended. Well, the latest development in controversy backstage at AEW comes when it comes to the former AEW Women's World Champion Britt Baker. Following an incident backstage at the July 17 episode of AEW Dynamite, Britt Baker was reportedly issued with a fine and suspension. Now, Baker made her return at the AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door crossover pay-per-view on June 30, appearing after Mercedes Moné defeated Stephanie Vacqua. She had her first match since September 2023, facing Hikaru Shida on the Blood and Guts episode of AEW Dynamite on July 24. However, Dave Meltzer has revealed that Baker has been suspended following comments made about MJF backstage on July 17. Writing in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Meltzer revealed the known details of the investigation and punishment, writing, quote, Britt Baker was suspended for either 1 or 2 weeks and fined by the company's disciplinary committee. Details have been kept pretty quiet. It came from something backstage at the July 17 Dynamite where Baker allegedly said something about MJF and Alicia Atout. MJF's girlfriend heard it and told him, and he confronted Baker. This led to an investigation with HR talking to people on July 24, and I believe the disciplinary committee that did the investigation recommended that. I don't know if Tony Khan was or wasn't involved in this, and everyone was attempting to keep this under wraps. This all stems from problems in the past that weren't addressed, and a committee was put together to settle these things quickly. Most of those we heard from were sympathetic to her in this situation. Now, more details surrounding this come from Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, who has confirmed that Britt Baker's suspension from AEW is indeed legitimate. Several weeks ago, an argument between Britt Baker and MJF occurred, according to Sapp. The word internally was that Baker exercised frustration about MJF within the women's locker room. Word made it back to the former AEW World Champion, as his girlfriend, Alicia Atout, was in the room. The details are, quote, he said, she said at this point, but Fightful have been told there were confrontations between Alicia Atout and Britt Baker, as well as MJF and Baker too. At one point, Will Ospreay also spoke with Baker. Word was that Baker also took issue with Atout telling MJF about what was said in the locker room. The previous close friends, Britt Baker and MJF, according to Sean Ross Sapp, had a falling out at some point in the last year. HR got involved in the situation, which actually happened several weeks ago. Baker has appeared on television since then, but was legitimately suspended. An investigation was conducted with numerous members of the AEW roster, and a suspension was levied. Baker, as of right now, at the time of recording this video, is still planned to wrestle at AEW All In. Of course, she's set to challenge Mercedes Moné for the AEW TBS Championship. Of course, if we get any more details on what this means for the future or any more details regarding the incident itself, we'll let you know in an upcoming video. Now, Brock Lesnar, what is the latest when it comes to Brock Lesnar's WWE status? Well, certainly many people were asking questions after last week. WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque stated that WWE was willing to have a conversation with Brock Lesnar when he decides to return. However, according to Dave Meltzer, the Janelle Grant sex trafficking lawsuit against Vince McMahon and WWE, as well as former Executive Vice President of Talent Relations John Laurinaitis, could affect Lesnar's potential return. Meltzer writes, quote, the situation with Brock Lesnar right now is that there were reasons having to do with what was in the Grant lawsuit that WWE legal thought it was not good to have Lesnar on television. When that belief changes, Lesnar will be back and on television. It's not his decision to decide to come back. It is their decision on if they want him back and when. Of course, we get any more details on Brock Lesnar's future, we'll let you know in an upcoming video. Now, Daniel Garcia, what is the latest when it comes to his AEW status? Well, after Daniel Garcia was brutally written off television, courtesy of MJF, on the July 3rd episode of AEW Dynamite, there has been plenty of speculation regarding the future of the 25-year-old. Garcia's contract with AEW is reportedly set to expire in the fall of this year, with Brian Alvarez stating on Wrestling Observer Radio that MJF's attack was a way for AEW to write Garcia off television in case he doesn't re-sign with the company. An update from Alvarez since then has stated the belief within AEW that Garcia will remain in the company rather than go elsewhere. Now, in a further update from the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer has also reported that the belief in AEW is that Garcia is going to re-sign and begin a feud with MJF. However, he would also report that Garcia does have an interest in joining WWE too. Meltzer writes, quote, "The general belief remains that Daniel Garcia will sign a new deal and feud with MJF upon his return. The angle itself was shot with that expected, but his contract was running out and he did have interest in going to WWE, although he'd likely have to start in NXT. That's still possible, but AEW was always expected to be the spot he'd probably be because a guy like him could probably get a better money deal in AEW, but there was interest in WWE as well." Of course, we get any more details on his contract status, we'll let you know in the future. Now, Ronda Rousey, she's been heavily critical of WWE since her departure from the company, but could she one day make a return to the organization? Well, since leaving WWE in August of last year, Ronda Rousey has been incredibly critical of the organization and former WWE boss Vince McMahon. In the latest installment of her autobiography, Rousey held little back when given her thoughts on McMahon and WWE's entire management structure. It's been reported that Ronda Rousey despised Vince McMahon by the time she left the company, later branding him an effing sicko in an interview. She also took aim at the company for its casting couch culture during McMahon's tenure, slamming former head of talent relations John Laurinaitis. Elsewhere, Ronda Rousey ruled out ever returning to WWE, calling the company a shit show. While Rousey might not be knocking on WWE's door for a job anytime soon, it seems the company would be open to working with her again. In a new appearance on the Sports Media podcast with Richard Deitch, WWE's head of communications Chris Lettengill said if someone ever wants to come back, the company is happy to have the conversation. Quote, "We saw the news recently about she's going to be having her second child and we're super excited for her. We love Ronda. She's been a great person to work with on a lot of levels. And, you know, if somebody wants to come back, it's always a conversation we're happy to have. I mean, life is very long and, you know, things change both behind the scenes and in front of the camera over time. And we're definitely open to have conversations when it makes sense." Now, on July 25th, Rousey announced that she was pregnant with her second child. The star and her husband, Travis Brown, are already parents to a 2-year-old, while Brown also has 2 children from a previous marriage. And finally, WWE Tag Team Champions Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano surprised fans in Cleveland, Ohio prior to SummerSlam this weekend. WWE SummerSlam is set to land in Cleveland on August 3rd with many of the company's top titles on the line. Ahead of the show, Tag Team Champions Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa shocked fans by appearing at Absolute Intense Wrestling in Cleveland on August 1st. Earlier in the night, Gargano cryptically asked on social media, "Anything cool happening in Cleveland, Ohio tonight?" before the pair appeared at the indie event. Ohio native Gargano previously wrestled for the promotion back in 2006. In a post on social media, Gargano said he wouldn't be where he is if it wasn't for the people who supported him when he was starting out. He said, quote, "Surprise! I wouldn't be where I am today without the places I've been and the people who have supported me from the ground up. I had to start SummerSlam weekend in Cleveland off by going back to where it all started. Thanks for having us." Now, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa will be back in action on the August 2nd episode of SmackDown when they defend their WWE Tag Team Championships against Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu. Elsewhere on the show, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn defend their Women's Tag Team Championships against Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Now, despite the card for the event seemingly being set, a recent report has hinted that WWE could make some maybe late changes to SummerSlam, although there was no word on what those adjustments may look like for this weekend. Of course, we get any more details on any late changes to SummerSlam, we'll let you know in an upcoming video. But there you go, guys, the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button, be sure to subscribe bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe. bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.